Don't be shy, 'cause life won't bring you down too far.
Razzaban here for IFL TV in association with MPK Global. With me, got two of the nicest guys in boxing, Ryan Walsh and JAZZA Dickens, the finalists for the Golden Contract Featherweight, which takes place September 30th. Guys, firstly, how are we doing, both of you? I'll start with you, JAZZA.
Yes, good. Really good. Ryan's probably been in the same boat as me. I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. I've started camp almost fucking 3 times, I think, in the meantime. So, yeah, it's nice to finally have a date.
Ryan, yourself?
Snap that. There's a camp best. I'm all the same. The camp thing. When I first fought Lee Selby, he said, "I never do a camp. I train all year round." But the camp thing is where you horn in, and ideally you want that 10, 8, 7 weeks preparation. And they've given us well enough time. We've had more than enough time. This is probably the most time I've had to prepare for a fight and a fighter since my professional debut. And I didn't even know I was fighting at my debut. So we knew for 18 weeks we were fighting each other if the June date would have come through. And now it's been just mental. I mean, we're looking at 5, 6, 7 months ready. And that's a long time to be thinking about one person. So in a way, COVID come and give us a break from each other, because I'm sure when the COVID come with his week, yeah, he wouldn't have stopped training. I know I didn't, but you can have a break because you're thinking, well, I don't know now. You knew it was getting rescheduled. Quite early on, I knew it was getting rescheduled. So I stopped thinking about JAZZA for a week or two, and it was, well, at least a month or two. It was a nice break, I'll say.
Was it hard mentally, though? Because obviously fighters have to stick to a certain regime, food-wise, training-wise. So was it hard to continue that at a certain intensity, not knowing exactly when that date was going to come, JAZZA?
Yeah, it was for me. I when the COVID came, I didn't believe it. I weren't having it. I was in denial, so I didn't stop at all. So looking back, I wish I had. I've had rest since then when I found out when we're looking at roughly, but I didn't stop at all. So it was just like, no, this is me training camp. I'm in the house. I've got the mattress against the wall and I'm training on the mattress. You know what I mean? That was my punch bag. So at the time, it was tough. Yeah, it was really tough for me. But it was like, as you go to your camp, you have all these everything turns into a mental test. Everything, do you know what I mean? So whatever you go to, it's just a mental test for the fight. So that's where I was at the start of COVID.
Yourself, Ryan?
I can't agree anymore. I was lucky because I reckon we've had we said between me and Graham we're struggling with, it's 5 to 12 days out of the gym, something like that, from when Boris decided to do his lockdown. But I was in denial. So I kept saying, my missus is telling me all about it. I was like, look, when we're in the predicament of Italy, China, and these countries that had it really bad where it was mental, I believe it. And in little old Norfolk, well, I think we're the last county to get anything. I still don't know anyone who had it. So I was in big denial. I was getting more and more upset about the situation, like, they're stopping us fighting. And then you realise, well, there is deaths for it, and this is just the way it's gone. So it has been mental. This year's been crazy. It looks so straightforward this year. After we'd fought, we had our date then straight away, and this COVID's changed everything. It's a game changer for sure.
I know MTK made the announcement last week, September 30th. What was your instant reaction when you found out you finally had a date? Let's start JAZZA again.
Well, we get told that we don't get told when you all get told. You know what I mean? We get told with advance. We're going to announce it this week. You might be. We're looking at this date. We're going to announce it next week. Blah blah blah. So we both have more than enough time, you know. And if you know you've got a fight coming up, it's a lot easier to stay in the gym, stay active, and stay prepared. So you're not, as Ryan said before, you're not smashing yourself in the gym. You're just taking over, but you know you've got enough time to step through the gears in your camp.
Right, so Ron?
He's right. It's all about peaking. So you do need your day. You do need the time. And I just love training. I'm so lucky that I love my job. So the bonus is to get to fight at the end. What I'm annoyed with in the modern times, we don't get to fight enough. So ideally, I get to train less and fight more, but I seem to train more than fight less. So I'm in total agreement. It's during this time I had little snippets of other dates. So I think we had June the 22nd. I'd heard late August, and now we've got September, and that's finally announced. It was all to do with football, I believe. Football dictated everything for the boxing because it's football first. It's obviously the number one. It's the world sport, never mind the national sport. So yeah, once football got sorted, it was down to us boxers. So yeah, I was over the moon. It's a day. I don't know if Jazza knows or yourself or anyone, but it'll be 8 years to the day since Liam and Paul Appleby fought on that day. And they had a fight of the year, and I think it's my son's birthday. So this is it's destined to be a special day.
Ryan, you're known for whenever you're fighting, bringing a big crowd, and I've been there in York Hall when you've got the Farmy Army there, and they are very, very loud. Jazza, you love a thrill of fight fans around you. You've told me yourself that sometimes you listen more to the fans than your coach in the corner when you're in the ring. Is it going to be strange fighting almost in an empty arena? Jazza?
When you're an amateur boxer, that's just what it is. You don't expect to fight for a crowd. That comes with being a pro, and that's something that you have to do. A few years ago, when I went out to America, I went and fought in the Dominican Republic, and it was something like 12 people in the crowd. So I'm going to have a bigger crowd now. Do you know what I mean? But what I realised at that time is this is why I love it. This was like when me going into the gym and having my first fight as a kid, not having to fight for no one, just because I love to fight. That in many ways, it's a better feeling than fighting in front of thousands of people. I fought on Ricky Hatton undercards in a sold out MEN. The thrill I got fighting in the Dominican Republic in front of 12 people, it was legalised crime. So it's what it is. You've seen the fight. You've probably been watching the matchroom shows, right? And you know, they're not even thinking this. It's they're not even thinking about the crowd sort of thing. It is, isn't it?
Again, you're so right, because for me personally, I think I've always been better in the gym than I've ever been in the ring. So I'm hoping that can be shown on the night. It's not obviously you're saying it's here, but in my career, I've always done my best work in the gym. And we'll find out if it was the setting, the crowd, did I react to that? Because I try not to be, but I think a lot of fighters are emotional, so they build an emotion. And there's no one. It's definitely going to be strange. You've got more experience. You've actually had a professional fight in that setting. I haven't, but I do know that. Yeah, I think them settings are more spa-like settings. It's crazy. It's going to be weird. You're going to be able to hear each other breathe. You're going to be able to hear each other's corner clearly. You're not going to not be able to hear Michael. So it's going to be interesting, isn't it? It's definitely. It's exciting because I've never done it. I've never been in this situation other than in the gym, and in the gym it's fine. So I'm looking forward to it. It's different. The shows I've watched, I think crowds always make everything better. I keep saying this. I watched the Sam Egginson Cheeseman fight. That needed a crowd. It was a belting fight, but you just needed, when one was getting rocked, you needed the fans to react to it, and that's a definite fight of the year. But you put the crowd to it, and it's even better again. It definitely adds the crowd, but everyone else seems to be getting on all right, so I'm sure we'll get on all right.
Jazza, yeah, that was going to be my next question. Is it going to be a different fight because of no crowds?
How can I say that? Do you know what I mean? I'd love to be able to tell you the answer, but I just don't know. You know, it's only an hindsight thing. You can only say this after you've been in that situation. So, like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? People are phoning me. Can I get tickets? You know, there's no fucking fans. How many people have you had, right, who are phoning you, who never come to a fight, who now want a ticket because they know they can't get it?
Oh, he's right. Yeah, no, you're right. But I am also very lucky because I've got this far, and if it weren't for my brothers, I wouldn't be anywhere because I've never had to sell a ticket. So I know they do get asked a lot. And once it gets announced, once it becomes public, once people see the poster, then they believe it. So I've got a lot of friends who are saying if they don't, they're on about going to the local pub, which is at York Hall, which they always go to anywhere before the fight, paying the barman to put the fight on and saying they're going to cheer from there. So a lot of mental. They'll find a way, I think. That obviously not to be there live, but to be in and around it.
Jazza, what do you make of Ryan as a fighter?
I think he's an excellent fighter, and I'm not what I'm not impressed by anyone as a fighter. As a man, you can tell he works hard. He's a family man, and he's a gentleman. That's all I can say. He's a gentleman. I'm very, very, very impressed by Ryan. I think I've said this to him before when we was at the press conference before the semi-finals. Yeah, I'm impressed, and I genuinely do like him.
Ryan, what do you make of Jazza as a fighter?
I respect me, and I think that's what Jazz has picked up. So I obviously respect him. I'm going to show him that respect by the shape and the way I turn up for that fight. Will show to everybody how much I respect Jazza, because this is the best fighter I've fought since Lee Selby, and possibly for stylistically could be better. We'll find out. And I know he knows how highly I rate him, and that respect will be because I respect me. You're going to see how much I respect Jazza because I know boxing and I know fighters, and we're both in such a similar boat. It's unbelievable. Our careers have paralleled in so many different ways, and no one was happier than us when he look, in this tournament. I derailed the ESPN fighter. I took the Cuban out. He was ESPN's pick, and he took out the Sky fighter. Now we're left with two MTK fighters. It's brilliant for MTK. It's brilliant for us, and it's nice. It's nice that they say about nice guys finishing last. Well, in this one, for sure, a good guy's going to be on top. Whoever wins, the good guy's going to be on top. And we've paid our dues. We've both paid our dues. Jazz's only ever been beat to world-class fighters. Rigondeaux, Ward, and Kigellard. So to beat him, you need to be world-class. And that's as simple as that. That's the way I see it. I've watched enough of him. We've known each other for a long time. And I think the key word in all this running on is respect. I respect me, but he'll say how much I respect him for the shape and the condition I come in to fight.
Have you ever sparred each other before?
No, unbelievably, no.
We've missed each other, haven't we, right? We've missed each other for years. We've been on like a parallel thing. We used to see you at the show.
Yeah, this is it. It's the weight. You was always a super bantam. When I was a super bantam, we was obviously doing our by the time I'd won the English title, I then moved up. Then Kigella had come in, and then you won the super bantam. I don't know if you won the English, but it was. I was always at just somehow slightly heavier, and then once I'd hit feather, I can't see me going too much higher than feather ever. So I'm kind of at my weight now, but I think it's just a bit but it seems that it should have happened maybe, but I couldn't make super bantam healthily anymore. The last time I made super bantam for the English title, that was horrible. Never, I can't even get a gram under feather now, so I couldn't imagine. I don't know how I made 100. I do not know how I made 122. I have no idea.
Let's talk a little about the semi-final. Sorry, go on.
There, we've held the same belts. Do you know what I mean? I think there might have been a few years that we turned pro just apart, but we've held the same belts along the way. Yeah. So that's how close it could have been.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little about the semi-final. Jazza, what did you make of Ryan's victory over Tyrone McCullough?
I haven't watched it back yet, and I will. But I was warming up. I was backstage warming up. So people were just coming back and saying he's won that round. From the commentary from people going out the changing room, coming back in and giving their review. I think he nearly stopped him. I think he had him over a few times, and that's all I know. From the commentary, people walking out back and forth, on next or whatever.
Ramobat, did you manage to catch up with Jazz's fight with Lee Wood?
I was lucky enough to commentate on it. I was commentating for Sky, so I had the best seat in the house and massively impressed with them both. You got to tip your hat to Lee Wood. He's a tough, big lad who Jazz was so close to getting that bonus on. I think McDonald just stopped the action, not completely. He was at a point where he nearly had him going. I did complain about it in commentary. I said, we don't do a standing count. And I don't know if Jazz has watched it back, but this is worth, I don't know, 10 grand, 7 grand, something like that. The last thing you want is when you've got a man going, is a referee to jump in and not stop him. If he jumps in and stop him, lovely job. But if he jumps in and stops you winning 7 grand, I would have been furious looking back on that. But it was a cracking fight. And again, that's another part of respect when you sit there watching two men. And I have to give Lee Wood his respect too. Both of them, he went there. They entertained everybody. It was brilliant. Total opposite to our fight. And that's no disrespect to McCullough. He come out to try and box me and run away. And it's a bit of a stinker for that. No one ever says anything good about that fight to me, about him. They said, you must be frustrated, you must be... And I said, no, he's come to do his job. He thought he could nick it off me, amateur style. But that fight was total opposite. A really, really good fight. And I'm not sure how it went for Fight of the Years, but that's got to be... I bet that was up there. It must have been close for a recommendation for sure.
Ryan, I think you've got 5 years on Jazz. I think of 34. Jazz is 28, 29 now. Ryan, would you say there's more pressure on you here, considering you're getting older in age?
Wow, it's just a number that. I'd love a doctor to prove my point. I'd love a doctor to assess me and tell you, don't worry about that 34. This guy's 24. You know, that's what I feel like. But pressure, that's a funny thing. We're always under pressure. Every fight you're under pressure. Especially this is the Floyd Mayweather No-Zero era. Why do you think me and Jazz have had to struggle so much? We've had losses. You know, I've had 2, he's had 3, sorry. And that's what makes the struggle. We're in the Floyd Mayweather. Everyone's got to keep their raw. You know, avoid everybody. Make sure you do the best business. It's rubbish. I want to be in the era where I fight everybody, and I want to fight the best fights, and that's why this fight's so exciting. We've got no more to lose, so that pressure's off. But we have got the pressure of a contract and an opportunity that we both deserve. So I say a lot about fights, but the best man, that's all I want in this fight. Best man to win, and I'm happy.
Jazza, what do you have to do to beat Ryan?
Yeah, just be myself, you know, be the best version of myself, and it's not like about Ryan necessarily, you know what I mean? That's in any fight, that's anyone I've ever fought. Just be the best version of myself. That's all I can focus on. And touching on the pressure point is like, me and Ryan have both got families to provide for, you know what I mean? There's pressure and walking back through that door. Someone's just got that fucking contract and someone hasn't. There's fucking pressure, do you know what I mean? There's life-changing pressure. So that's the pressure point. But yeah, just be the best version of myself. And it's nice that in this situation, I am fighting Ryan because I know that he's a true professional and I have to be, because he will be, you know what I mean? That's just it for me. He's going to bring the best out of me. He's a great dancing partner.
Ryan, how do you beat Jazza?
He says it so well, and I can't, you know. How do you top on that? What he's saying is so true. I only ever have had 30 professional fights, and I've only ever concentrated on getting myself in the best shape I can. Of course, I pay him the most respect by doing that. That's the most respect I can pay anyone. I've looked at Jazza. I've tried to get sparring partners like this, but he's quite a unique style because there isn't anyone I've sparred who is exactly like Jazza. So what I have been doing is sparring partners with bits of Jazza, and then on the night you've got to hope that all comes together. And because sparring is just to try and get a little bit of what you expect on the night. So we've had 3 or 4 different ones, and hopefully that'll help in this. But come the night, little gloves on, everything changes. So I suppose to beat Jazza, I've just got to, on the night, you've got to be better I've got to be better at certain things on the night, because what works against the other opponents won't work against Jazza. I'm sure enough on that. I think it's a tricky one. With it, how do you like? I've got my game plan. I understand what I think I need to do, but then putting on Jazza, it's one thing doing inspiring with these sparring partners who aren't fully like him. So it's another thing doing on the night.
Jazza, what would it mean for you to be victorious on September 30th and walk away proudly with that contract and that financial reward?
It's just fucking life. You can't express enough how life-changing it is. That's exactly what it is. And it's the key to all my goals. I don't think unless I do, I can't achieve what I came to this sport to do. Fucking two decades ago. I think it was a long time. It started as an amateur. I think it was about 12, now 29. So like 17 years of work. And this is like, I need this to carry on. You know what I mean? I don't know where else there is to go from here. Although it's a massive platform and a massive opportunity, I still have that element of where do you go from there.
Ryan, what about yourself?
Words don't do it. This is it's do or die. This sport doesn't. I felt like for me and my brothers, it's not really wanted us. You only have to look at what's happened with Liam. he fights for a world title and everyone pretends he doesn't exist. I mean, it's mandatory. The British lightweight title, and not one word was said about that the other night. When Tennyson was fighting Gwynn, not one word got said about Liam Walsh. And as his twin, his brother, and he's the other half of me, I was so disappointed, annoyed, but I understand the game now. When you're too rule for it and you're not following the rules, you're not being a cheat, and you're not that person that you need to be in that system, well, they don't want you here, you know? And I'm under no illusion. Lose, see you later. Forget about Ryan. When after I lost my first British title, the Commonwealth pretended I didn't exist, and even the British board, after 2 fights, after fighting Lee, who nobody wanted to fight, it was like, nah, we'll forget about him. It's a funny business. It's something that I've got used to now, not mourning about it. This is just what it is. So it's do or die is the best way to explain it. Boxing can go just fine without me. So I have to keep fighting to be in boxing. Every fight is to stay in the sport that I love. The sport I love, the business I despise. A lot of the businessmen in a lot of businessmen in the sport I really despise. I would love to thump a few of them.
Guys, just finally, Jazza, probably the last time you see Ryan before fight week, which will be limited again due to no crowds, etc. So, any final words to Ryan as you look at him right now?
Not to Ryan necessarily, but people don't like to see nicey press conferences. No one is still watching this at this point, but I've got one thing to say to the people who don't like it. Fuck you.
Well, I like it. If that means anything, I like it because, you know, I'm sick of all that bullshit crap. Like, and if it's real, fair play. If it's real, but there is no real, you know, our beef will be settled on the night, and it'll be on the night that it starts. When Jazza starts trying to punch me in the face and I start punching him, then it becomes real. But right now, where's the time and energy to start talking crap about a man that I have nothing but respect for? So if anyone is watching to this point, I've simply got to say thank you to MTK for putting me in a position, because I signed this without knowing anyone's here. And I tell you what, I'm so happy that I'm in the final with a guy that I can respect, who I know will get the best out of me. And this tournament's been I'd say a godsend for both of us, because where was we going prior to this? You know, I know Jazz won his IBF European, but again, he's not wanted. He's a southpaw who can fight, who's only lost to world-class people. No one wants to fight him. I was in a position where I've been a 5-year British champion. Of course, nobody wants to fight me. No one holds onto the belt that long because they go, oh, someone's going to push me this way and I'm going to go that way. No, I had to hold on to that for everything it's worth. I'm milking that to death. I'm never, ever vacating. And as far as the contract goes, I just think it's the lifeline that both of us need. It's a lifeline to finally get to that next stage where no one can deny us. So it's the ultimate carrot.
What's the situation, Brian? Ryan, you still got your belt?
Yeah, the British Board of Boxing have said, because this is the crazy thing that really frustrates me. McCulloch, I think McCulloch, is he Northern Ireland, McCulloch?
Yeah,
he'd been eligible to fight for this British title, and he's more eligible than my mandatory. You've got yourself far more eligible than my mandatory. He's a 12-0 novice pro, who I don't think's beat anybody of note, but they'll tell me he's an English champion, he's done his limit. That's brilliant. But then that's two people who I value have far better defences, and the British board didn't make that possible. And what they're saying to me now, I've had a letter just recently saying potentially they're reviewing whether to strip me. And I was like, wait a minute, I've had 2 mandatories put out of me. Jordan Gill put out of me. I had a signed contract for Jordan Gill. That should have been before this contract. And he didn't, he said no. And before that, I had Isaac Law. And on both occasions, on one of them, I was in the camp for 6 months, and not 1 penny did the board give me back to reimburse my camp. Then on the next one with Gill, exactly the same. So to ask me to vacate, it's like they're trying to force my hand because of this contract. And I'm saying I'm more than keen to do this fight and definitely do Reece Mould, because I have no doubt in Britain right now, I'm more than happy to fight any of the young guns, any of them. I proved that with Belay. I proved it with Gill when Gill said no. So it's going to be interesting. On September the 9th, I think they tell me they're going to sit and review what's going to happen with my British title. But I'll be beyond disgusted in the system if they strip me on the grounds. It's like they're pretending COVID didn't exist. like the COVID didn't stop any, because I've never had a date for Reece Mould, but I accepted, yes, I will fight him.
I turned into an interviewer then.
Yeah, you done well. You got a good one out of me.
You know he's your opponent, right, Jazza?
Yeah, well,
guys,
this is it.
Appreciate you guys jumping on today. I did say at the beginning of the interview, two of the nicest guys in the sport, and you are both gentlemen. Just want to wish you both continue safety and success and well-being through the rest of camp. And I'm sure as soon as fight night gets closer, we're going to see a different side to both of you.
Not until I get in the ring, not for me. I know who I am. I'm happy who I am. I ain't changing for nobody. I'm a 34-year-old man. I got this far, being this way. And when I get in the ring, yeah, you will see different. The second JAZZA starts trying to hit me, I'm going to get massively upset about that. I always have. Sparring. I've got two brothers who I love more than anything. But when they try to punch me, I get upset too. So, yeah.
JAZZA Dickens and Ryan Walsh for IFL TV. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raz.
Have a good night, camp, right?
You too. I'll see you soon. See you soon, Jazz.